Hello fellow adventurers and collectors, Filmaholic here. Today we're going to be looking at something a little special, in that I think it's a YouTube first, but I'm not going to say it just in case, but I came across this listing on Mercari, I think, and suffice to say it's something that I never thought I would have gotten, because I remember as a kid looking at it, and it's this 1/6 scale building. And it's a bit of a mystery to me because I'm not entirely sure who manufactured it, because there's no markings on it, and as you can see here, it's pretty damn big. So big in fact I don't know where I'm going to put it, but that's for me to figure out later on. Like I said, I found this listing and I figured I'd grab it because this is not only the first time I've seen it for sale, but seen it mostly complete. And yeah, it was one of those things that I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw it, so I immediately jumped on it, and yeah, I figured I'd record the process because if it would be a disservice not to, because there's not a lot of information out there on this thing. From my research, I pretty much came to the conclusion that it was a JCPenney exclusive at some point, but at the same time there are different iterations of it. There's one in white, gray, and different flags for whatever reason. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure which one this is, and as you can see, it's constructed by like a puzzle almost, and I'm not entirely sure if it's the age or how thin the plastic is, but there are some stress marks, and I do have to take some care in terms of how I display it because there is some warpage on the second level, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But yeah, you get plenty of space to play around with, and from what I was doing with it myself, it seems pretty sturdy, although I wouldn't of course display anything too heavy on there, but you get a lot for, I would assume, what you paid for. I don't know the actual original retail for this, to be honest with you, but this is something along the lines of World Peacekeepers and Power Team Elite, so I can only imagine it being within a budget line. So here we are with size, and something I noticed right away is that it definitely does not work, or at least I don't think it works well with modern 1/6 scale figures, because it doesn't seem to scale well with them. You could fudge it, of course, but I think this is better suited for vintage 1/6 scale figures like G.I. Joe, Action Man, Combat Joe, all those sorts of figures. So I think these guys are going to be taking this base over, so that's not entirely bad because I feel like I've neglected these guys for a bit. But yeah, with that said, in terms of accessories, it came with 4 chairs, but I have the 4th chair. I don't know where I put it. Somewhere around here probably. Came with 4 tables, and again you can see that it kind of has this flimsy plastic to it, and it, unfortunately arrived broken, or a bit broken. But aside from that, it's not too bad, and as you can see here, you can kind of see the warpage on that left side. You can see it more so here with this ammo rack and how it kind of just doesn't sit level. And yeah, it definitely came with a lot of accessories. It came with these sandbags, and it came with this 1/6 scale bicycle that I've already used in a couple shots. But yeah, as a kid I would have definitely loved this. But then back then I wasn't collecting 1/6 scale. It also came with all these medical supplies, so you can have your own little triage center in the building or something like that. It does have a UN flag on the outside, so perhaps that's part of it. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, I could have definitely have used a lot of these accessories and dioramas and all sorts of stuff, so I'm glad to have picked it up, at least now. So I figured I'd set up a couple dioramas utilizing the vintage G.I. Joes because I think they scale well with it, and it just goes to show you the different scenes you can create with these props and the building itself. And I really wish that companies made this kind of thing still, but I feel like not many kids these days are into this kind of thing, unfortunately, so it's a lost craft. But I'm glad to have gotten this one at least, and it's given my G.I. Joes, my vintage G.I. Joes, a place to stay. And This building itself actually didn't come by itself. It came with a large lot of other things, like 2 other vehicles, a whole bunch of guns. So when I do my 1/6 scale mortar pull, you'll definitely see some of those vehicles again. But until then, we'll just be looking at this stuff. Unfortunately, down here, one of my one of my soldiers is wounded, so I'm utilizing the cast and arm thing to protect him. So yeah, that's a quick look at this 1/6 scale building. I unfortunately don't have a lot of information to give you outside of it being a JCPenney exclusive, but I hope I gave you a good idea of what this looks like, because when I was doing research I didn't see too much on it. With that said, please like, comment, and or subscribe. I'd very much appreciate it. I'll catch you all next time.